Hello and welcome to GameRules.com. My name is Mark, and today I'm going to teach you how to play the most ruthless set collection game in all the land, Monopoly Deal. Let's dive in and learn how to play. Out of the box, you will get instructions, 4 reference cards for a 5-player game. I guess you're just out of luck, player 5. Property cards, money cards, and action cards. To set up the game, you're going to shuffle the deck and deal 5 cards to each player. Players will look at their cards, but they will keep them a secret from their opponents. Don't let your opponent see your cards. The rest of the cards are placed face down as a draw pile. Make sure there's room beside it for a discard pile. Of course, if each player needs a reference card, they can take one and place it beside them at the table. Except for player 5, you don't get one. The youngest player gets to go first. What, you don't know what to do for sure because it's your first game and you're the youngest player at the table? Too bad, you're still going first. Let's take a deep dive here into the different card types and what they do. All of the properties from the classic game of Monopoly are represented here. Each property card has its color, how much money the property is worth if you're going to use it to pay rent, and how much money you will collect if you play a rent card. There are also wild property cards, where you will need to choose which color that card is going to represent. You are allowed to change which color you choose during the game. Again, these count as money cards to be used to pay rent. And there are also wild properties that you can use as any color. These cannot be used as money. There are a variety of values when it comes to Monopoly money in this game. There is no making change in this game. So if you have to pay another player, and let's say you owe them 2, but all you have is a 4 in money, and you choose to pay them with money, you have to give them that 4, and they will not give you any change in return. So keep that in mind. If you possess the 10, yes, that is a lot of money, but if it's the only currency you have available and you have to pay somebody a small amount, you are giving them this entire card. And that brings us to action cards. What makes up just as much of the deck as property cards. This is where all the take that action comes into play. And it's a good way for you to build your fortune. So we have many different kinds of action cards to look at here. First, there are rent cards. If you play a rent card and you choose which color of these properties that you own that you want rent to be paid for, each player is going to pay you that amount of rent. You only get paid for one color. And of course, you have to possess that color's properties. We've got to double the rent. That can be played alongside a rent card. You cannot play the double the rent card by itself. You must play it alongside another rent card. And it does exactly what it says. It doubles the amount of rent you will be paid. Pass Go allows you to draw 2 cards. Debt Collector allows you to collect money from any player. Force Deal allows you to swap any one of your properties with any one of another's properties. Sly Deal allows you to steal one property from any player and put it in front of you. Deal Breaker allows you to steal a complete property set from any player, including any houses and hotels. You also get to put it right in front of you into play. It's Your Birthday, collect 2 from each player. A house can be put on a complete property set and it adds to the amount of rent you collect for that property. A hotel can be put onto a property set that has a house and it will allow you to add 4 more rent to that property. That is compounded with the 3 from the house. And finally, we have the most potent card of all, the Just Say No card, the Cancel card, that you play when an action is being done against you. When you play this, it cancels the action against you. If the action card that was played has a global effect, meaning everybody has to do it, they still have to do it. But keep in mind, somebody can put a Just Say No on your Just Say No, canceling your Just Say No and making you do the action that was played against you. Remember, kids, just say no. A player begins their turn by drawing 2 cards from the draw pile. Every turn begins with the draw of 2 cards. We'll say our player here at the bottom of the screen is the youngest player, they will go first. They will draw 2 cards. 1, 2. Those cards are added to your hand. And after you draw, you get to play up to 3 cards. You do not have to play any cards. You can play 1, you can play 2, or you can play 3. But no more than 3. When playing cards on your turn, you can either add money to your bank, you can play property cards to your property area, or you can play an action card. The cool thing about action cards is you don't have to play them as action cards. You can actually play them as money as well. So let's say for this player's first turn, they want to get some money in the bank. Well, they're going to go ahead and use all 3 of their actions to do that. They're going to go ahead and put out their 5 and their 2 3s. Now these 3s were action cards, but they don't have any properties. They don't need this house, and the opponent doesn't have any properties out yet either, so they can't steal anything. So for this turn, they're going to go ahead and just play these as currency. The currency kind of acts as a good defense against action cards and rent collection anyways, so it's good to have money in the bank. You can see our first player has a just say no card. This is vital, especially later in the game. So they're going to hold on to that. They used all 3 of their actions for the turn, so their turn is technically over. I just want to point out they could have played their St. James property down to the table. They could have played this It's Your Birthday card, but the opponent has no money in their bank and no properties out on the table, so they couldn't play this. And they could have played this action card and drawn 2 more cards. They chose not to. So that ends their turn. Play passes to the opposite player, and they begin by drawing 2 cards. Ooh, blue property, bow, 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 and a wild property that can either be a railroad or a utility. Let's grab their hand. They add these properties to their hand, and they are also going to... Ooh, they're not set up for a very good start. They're going to go ahead and play some money to their bank. 1, and then they're going to go ahead and throw 1 action card down as money as well. So they've got 2 out of 3 turns that they can take. You know what? They're going to go ahead and play a wild property. It's a bold move so early in the game. We'll put that over here in their property section. Right now they got the orange side up. They're going to go ahead and say this is an orange wild card. One thing to keep in mind with wilds is you can change the color that wild is at any point. And as far as I understand it, because it's not explicit in the rules, but I think it is common to play this way, even if this property is attached to a set or more than one of the same color, you can detach it, change the color, and attach it to a different set. And that does not count as one of your 3 actions. However, if your wild is part of a complete set that has houses and hotels and all the goodies on it, you can't detach it because that would break up the set and you would no longer have a valid set for the house and the hotel. So once it's part of a set that has stuff put on it, you can't change it. You can't mess with it. All right, that's 3 actions for this player's turn, and that ends their turn. You can never have more than 7 cards in your hand at the end of your turn. So if you happen to have more than 7, you must discard down to 7. So let's say I had 9 cards, I'd have to pick 2 and throw them in a discard pile. We're okay though, we only got 4. So that ends this player's turn. And play like that will continue until one player has completed 3 different colored sets. As soon as that has been accomplished, that player wins the game. And remember, that can happen by playing an action card that allows you to steal a property or a complete set from an opponent. So keep those just say no cards in hand for moments like that. And that's how to swap, scheme, and steal in Monopoly Deal. If you found this video helpful, the best thing you can do is subscribe, ring the bell, give this video a thumbs up, or leave a comment down below. If you have a game you would like to see, or if you have questions about this game, be sure to leave them down in the comments. We got playlists for you right here of more card games to play. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, keep on playing.